Hello and welcome to Joy in Our Town, TBN, St. Joseph, Kansas City. I am your host, Lindsay Hardiman. Every day, each of us has to deal with some sort of commuting, whether we're adults and we're headed to work, or we're children and we're going to school, or maybe we're just traveling around town for other reasons. So, joined with us is Alex Wiebel of the Kansas Traffic Safety Resource Office to give us information about the transportation in our area. Alex Wiebel, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Lindsay, for having me again.
All right, so we know you work for the Kansas Traffic Safety Resource Office, but can you briefly tell us about your position with this organization?
Yeah, we are based in Topeka, and we have 8 people on our staff where we do a variety of different traffic safety needs for consumers, drivers, anyone in the state of Kansas. So we have child passenger safety, we do all sorts of things with motorcycles, as well as keeping teen drivers safe as well. And my position is with communications, doing social media, newsletters, that sort of thing, and just kind of doing website updates as well for ktsro.org.
All right, so you said it's located in the Topeka area. So I know obviously it covers the Topeka area, but are there any other areas that the Kansas Traffic Safety Resource Office covers?
All of our employees travel across the state to do different needs for customers in Kansas, whether it's getting a car seat check to make sure it's properly installed. We have technicians and instructors on our staff. An organization or a group called CarFit is for older drivers, so we also have the state CarFit organizer is with our organization as well.
All right, so you said the CarFit is for seniors?
Yeah, it's for older drivers. They come to get their checked to make sure that they're properly seated in the car, make sure the steering wheel is at the proper distance away, the seatbelt, because sometimes it might be a little bit difficult for them to get buckled in correctly. So they have different ways to keep everyone safe for older drivers as well.
All right, that's wonderful, because you think about car seat safety, but you never think about the seniors and their safety with their car.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to get everyone in the right seat is our motto. And so we have, everyone from newborns all the way to older drivers as well that, mature and older drivers. Yeah.
That's wonderful. All right, so can you tell me what is 511?
511 is a program that's operated by the Kansas Department of Transportation. The Kansas Turnpike Authority also has authority with it as well, and the Kansas Highway Patrol. But 511 gives updated road conditions, travel information, weather conditions as well, if that is a factor as well, throughout all the highways and interstates in Kansas. And it's on available 24/7. It's updated every 5 minutes as far as if you're on the road and you need to know if there's an accident or a crash, that you can get some updates that way.
All right, so you can just check in any time of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And then candrive.org is also updated constantly to see what road closures there may be, whether there's a snowstorm out in western Kansas to a traffic delay in Kansas City area as well. There's all sorts of updates throughout that, and that's candrive, KANDrive.org.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so, you're talking about 511, how it provides information for different areas in the community. So does the public have any say on, the location or buildings of different roads and transit systems?
The Kansas Department of Transportation receives feedback every day from citizens across the state, and that's, obviously what is welcomed.
Right.
Everyone wants to know if this is going to affect them on their commute, and they try to please everybody within the community. Now, as far as building roads, if we want to build a major highway just for one person's house, I don't think it would be exactly doable.
Right.
With money and time and manpower and all that sort of thing. But I'd say everybody gets a chance to voice their opinion through it's a say community meeting or town hall, that sort of thing, and also just writing local district managers as well. I mean, there's districts across the state that are owned and operated by the Kansas Department of Transportation.
All right, so there's several outlets just to voice your opinion.
Exactly, yeah. There's 7 districts across Kansas that monitor the conditions and all the sorts of construction updates and that sort of thing. And probably if you're going to talk about something that's in far western Kansas, you might not want to talk to the people in Kansas City about it.
Exactly.
Topeka is where the headquarters is at, but they also have districts across the state that can help answer any questions that the public may have.
All right. Well, we're going to stop for a few moments and put some information on the screen. If you would like to get more information about the Kansas Traffic Safety Resource Office, you can give them a call at 1-800-416-2522 or visit the website on the screen at ktsro.org. All right, so we've been talking about the different streets and the routes and information for them, but what are the leading cause of accidents in the Kansas area?
Yeah, crashes happen each and every day and can happen for multiple reasons. Obviously, impaired driving is a big concern that, affects, probably 2,400 crashes a year at least. That impaired driving does, but the big number right now is impaired driving or inattentive driving is the number one cause of crashes in Kansas and pretty much throughout the entire country, whether that's having to do with cell phones or other passengers maybe causing the distraction by playing with the radio or that sort of thing. It is inattentive driving, just not paying attention is the major cause of crash. Following too closely is also ranked up there as well, but the top 4 out of 5 top
inattentive driving.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you said following too closely. What is a safe distance to keep between myself and the driver in front of me?
If you think about it, say 3 to 5 seconds is plenty of distance to if there's a sudden stop from the vehicle in front of you, or say an animal jumps out in front of you as well. You have plenty of time to react and maneuver away from it or slow down and stop completely. Now there's a lot more automated technology in vehicles that could help do that if you're not paying attention 100% of the time, which, it is difficult to stay focused, at all times. But the main idea is just put that phone away, and so that way you can pay attention to the road, and the main thing is just drive. Don't worry about all the other factors that's going on in your lifetime, because it really, it is the most dangerous thing you're going to do each and every day would be to get on the road and get in a vehicle. If you really think about it, that is the number one leading cause of crash for teens and young people in the United States. So it is very serious. We do try to keep everyone safe at all times. And one of the big things is making sure that people do have enough distance in between cars, because a lot of that bumper-to-bumper traffic, they're might be used to it, but there's someone in there that isn't used to it. And so that one person can cause a chain reaction.
Oh, exactly.
Exactly.
All right, so you said following closely in inattentive drivers. So this can usually happen in work zones. So what is a penalty if you happen to be not paying attention or you're following too closely and you wreck or hit a worker? What's the penalty for hitting a worker?
Now, hitting a worker, that's definitely something that is a huge violation. We try to encourage people to when you see orange, to slow down, to see when you see that color. Exactly. It's there to get your attention on purpose. It's not just there for, it's a pretty color. It is there to have you be aware that there is work to be done. There are people, there are humans that have to go home to their families at night, that they want to make sure that they're safe and, doing their job. Give them a break with the BRAKE, is a big slogan. So Work Zone Awareness Week actually was in the middle of April. And so during that week, we had messages go out on social media, and we had a media event to let people know that it is a serious, start to the construction season. When it gets to springtime, that's when all the workers are back out. The weather's warmed up a little bit. You have the summer travel as well coming up, so they were all getting ready for that. But as far as the fine for hitting a worker is $105 base. Now, if it's in a work zone, obviously all fines are doubled. So if you had any sort of violation, it gets doubled on there. Now, I know in Missouri, it's $10,000 fine plus you lose your license. So it's a little bit, obviously, more stiffer penalty. So we have probably on the lower end as far as the fine goes, but everything else doubles. So it doesn't have to be when workers are present. If any sort of violation you have would be doubled.
Okay. So overall, we want to avoid any type of penalties. So how should our driving habits change in work zones?
I think just being aware that a work zone is going on. I mean, and knowing what to do when you do see a worker or a vehicle, maintenance vehicle, in your way. Move over is the big campaign that we try to stress the drivers to. If you see a work vehicle or emergency vehicle on the right, shoulder, to move over to the left lane if it's a 2-lane highway, or at least 2 lanes going in one direction, when it's safe to do so. Move over became a law in 2007, so you have to have a a chance to adequately move over whenever you do see emergency personnel or maintenance vehicles on the side of the road.
All right, so we're going to put some more information on the screen for our viewers at home. If you are just now tuning in, we are joined with Alex Wiebel of the Kansas Traffic Safety Resource Office. And if you would like more information about this organization, you can give them a call at 800-416-2522, or again, visit the website located on the screen at ktsro.org. All right, earlier on you said teens have the highest crash rate in the U.S. or maybe just in our local area. So what are some ways that parents can help their teens be safe on the road?
Anytime you can have them have more experience. Obviously, teens are the first or the newest ones on the road, more than likely, across the country. And especially in Kansas, we have, big emphasis to put on teen drivers to, hey, make sure that you're following all the rules. I know there's been a lot thrown at them with education and sorts of things that are going on in their own lives and, having a social life and everything. So driving sometimes, they don't realize that it is a privilege. I think for parents, it might be wise to educate them a little bit more to say, hey, this is, something that is very, very real. That, you have friends and family that are, relying on you to be safe out there, not just what you're doing in your vehicle. So one of the national campaigns from NHTSA, which is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So NHTSA has a 5 to Drive program, which is they have 5 little tips to give to teen drivers, which is always buckle up, get rid of your cell phone, avoid distractions while driving, having other passengers, make sure that they're limit them, maybe 1 and possibly 2, depending on the graduated driver's license law, which varies state to state. So you have those. You also have no speeding, and so those are some of the tips that they give to make sure that you're always safe in the car. And no alcohol was the other one.
So. Because those two don't combine.
No, not exactly the best mix for anybody, especially teens that aren't exactly equipped to handle situations like that.
Okay, so you keep stressing being aware and staying attentive to the roads. So overall, is there anything else you want to give to our viewers for motorists to stay safe on the road?
I think just realizing that driving is, it can be dangerous. Not always is. And just your normal trip to the grocery store or, to get some errands run, you may not think about wearing your seatbelt. I'm just going to go down the road. But that's the most important thing. Buckle up. Always have a seatbelt. Click it or ticket campaign is very, it brings awareness to what can happen if you don't wear your seatbelt, whether it's if you're involved in a motor vehicle crash or possibly, fatalities that are involved as well. So keeping awareness of seatbelt use is big, and it is improving across the state of Kansas as far as the surveys are going.
That's wonderful.
But we also want to make sure that everyone's buckled up in the car, and especially with teens, that happens a lot where they may not think about wearing a seatbelt. And one of the teen programs that we do have out of our office is called SAFE. Seatbelts are for everyone, and there were more than 140 schools signed up for the 2015-2016 school year in 63 counties in Kansas. So there was a widespread,
good turnout.
Good turnout, and everybody's having a lot of success with that. They're seeing the teens telling other teens to buckle up. Seems to get that message through a little bit more than just people behind a computer. So.
All right, well, Alex Wiebel, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Lindsay.
And thank you, viewers, for tuning in to Joy in Our Town, TBN, St. Joseph, Kansas City. I am your host, Lindsay Hardiman, and happy commuting.
If you were not able to attend the Kansas City local government meeting recently, you will want to stay tuned as we air very important excerpts from this meeting pertaining to local civic issues being discussed in our community. Please join us now as we watch the meeting.
This city, any city that wants to be the best it can for its citizens, must remain focused on the future and recognize that we are all part of one Kansas City. The 4E agenda I ran on before I took office in 2011, efficiency, employment, education, and enforcement remains our focus today because it serves as a framework that can sustain Kansas City's momentum into the future. Across the street from City Hall is a bronze statue of Ilis Davis, the mayor who in 1963 appointed the original Citizens Commission on Municipal Revenue that conceived of the earnings tax. The earnings tax wasn't a new idea. Lots of cities had it then, and over 4,000 cities and governmental bodies have it now. The earnings tax works because city residents and people who work in the city share in the cost of operating the city. Residents tell us that in their annual survey results that one of the most important city services is the overall quality of public safety. So a big chunk of the general fund logically goes to public safety, police, fire, and ambulance services. Another important point is that half of the earnings tax is paid by people who work in Kansas City but live outside of Kansas City, and they win too. Kansas City public safety officials help save lives all across the region through mutual aid agreements and the resources of the Regional Police Academy, the Fire Department Hazmat Team, and much, much more. The entire Kansas City area loses without the earnings tax. What would it take to fully replace the earnings tax if we were to lose it? We would need a combination of massive tax increases or a massive tax in a single tax source, like doubling of sales taxes or tripling of property taxes, things that we can't even do under Missouri law, to fully replace the $230 million that the earnings tax generates today. To cut our way to $230 million, we'd need to lay off more than 200 employees a year over the next 10 years, and more than half of those people would be police officers and firefighters. That would be on top of the 675 non-public safety workers we've already trimmed from city workforce since 2008. When I reconstituted the Citizens Commission on Municipal Revenue in 2011, that group found that the earnings tax is still the only viable option. Plus, we're more transparent and accountable today than we've ever been. Businesses appreciate that we run Kansas City using data, facts, and evidence to give our customers, taxpayers, residents, visitors, and companies what they expect. In a survey of 430 businesses taken late last year by the EDC, 70% rated Kansas City as an excellent or good place to do business. Tom Trabon, who passed away late last month, started that survey several years ago and is a wonderful legacy for the city that he loved. The EDC Business Survey mirrors the positive momentum from the city's annual Citizen Satisfaction Survey. 80% of the citizens give us high marks as a place to live, 71% the same as a place to work, and 59% rate us high as a place to raise children. The marks are up significantly from both 10 years ago and 5 years ago when I took office. In order to keep driving efficiency, we hold departmental KC stat meetings every month, as we've done every month for the past 5 years. These meetings dive into the performance of a different city department each month. We have productive discussions with the committed professionals who run this city. Using the data, they tell us what they're doing now and what they need to do next to keep the momentum going and to continue spending taxpayer money wisely. Speaking of which, last Thursday, our City Council passed a $1.53 billion budget for 2016 and 17. That budget supports neighborhoods and our young people. We'll be able to demolish dangerous buildings and invest more in summer youth employment. Public safety departments will now comprise 75% of our $543 million general fund, 40% of which comes from the earnings tax. That leaves 25% for things like streets, sidewalks, snow removal, trash pickup, codes enforcement, and municipal court. And that means that we'll continue to have to make some tough budgetary decisions. That doesn't scare me or make me uncomfortable. If I wanted to be loved every day, I would have opened a pet store. but I wanted to lead, so I ran for mayor. It seems to me that if we're guided by facts and data, not politics or ideology, then decisions are usually pretty clear, which brings me to the airport. Doing nothing is not an option for another critical part of Kansas City, the passenger terminals at KCI. Modernization is needed now if we're going to meet the present and future needs of the airlines who service and end long restroom lines inside security, improve baggage handling and de-icing equipment, meet the modern-day expectations of airline passengers, and deal with the crumbling infrastructure underneath. The airlines, a city committee I appointed, our city staff have been looking at this issue in excruciating detail for over 2 years. We'll get a recommendation from the airlines in a few weeks so that KCI, the front door to our community, will be as inviting and as efficient as we are making the rest of our city today. Our airline partners, led by Southwest, are singing the praises of Kansas City for the collaborative way that we're doing this because the airlines and airport operations, not citizen taxes, will pay for whatever happens at the airport. Another way that we're improving city efficiency is through public-private partnerships that help us support an important part of the city's talent base. Women's Empowerment, or WE, is an initiative that ensures that women can bring their talents to the city and to the wider community. Through WE, and for the first time, city employees will be eligible for paid parental leave beginning this spring. And later this year, WE is joining up with the Women's Foundation and the Society of Human Resource Management to conduct When Work Works, a program aimed at improving the work-life balance throughout the city. WE empowers women in many ways and creates a culture that makes Kansas City an even better place for women and families to live and work. But efficiency isn't just about bricks and mortar. It's a people thing too, and that means jobs. Kansas City momentum is especially evident in our ability to attract new people through job opportunities and our strategic assets. The new 800-room downtown convention center hotel is a more traditional job generator and a huge asset. This hotel has been years in the making because this deal had to be right for the entire city. And it is. Our general fund is not on the hook in any way for this convention hotel. The new hotel will need about 1,500 construction workers over 2 years. And when it's done, hundreds of people will be needed to run the hotel. Everybody from managers and desk clerks to bartenders and waitstaff. More importantly, the hotel is a key to bringing thousands of visitors to Kansas City, meaning more business for restaurants, museums, night spots, nightclubs, art galleries, and visitor attractions. Thanks to the outstanding efforts of Visit KC, millions of tourist dollars and convention dollars are heading our way even before there's been a groundbreaking. Shriners, associations, and major sports events that need huge blocks of rooms have agreed to come here. Many more conventions are checking us out, including several groups that previously left Kansas City because we didn't have enough hotel rooms in close proximity to the convention center. Now, recently, much has been said in recent months about incentives. Much of it has been misguided or, in some instances, completely false. Here are some truths. Since TIF was introduced as an economic development tool over 25 years ago, we estimate that property values in those early incentivized areas in Jackson County have more than doubled. Additionally, these investments allowed us to make needed public infrastructure improvements and create hundreds of construction and other jobs to redevelop properties. 64% of new development projects since 2011 have not and did not receive any city local incentive. Let me repeat that. 64% of developments since 2011 received no incentive from this city. So let's also talk about some facts regarding development on the east side. Since 2011, we've invested over $2 billion in housing, infrastructure, and capital improvements in the area east of Truce, south of the river, and north of 63rd Street. Part of that investment includes more than $41 million in public capital improvements, housing, economic, and public facilities, projects like Beacon Hill, St. Michael's Veterans Center, Bancroft School Affordable Housing, Oak Point Apartments, Faxon School Apartments on the Paseo, Highland Avenue Apartments in the 18th and Vine area, Phil Curl Senior Housing at 52nd and Mersington, and more, added more than $156 million in East Side housing investment. The $30 million Choice Neighborhood Grant is a major boost for the Paseo Gateway Northeast neighborhood. It will improve the lives of the residents there in many ways: housing, education, social services, transportation, infrastructure upgrades, economic development, and reducing the digital divide. The $14 million Kansas City Major League Baseball Urban Youth Academy will use the game of baseball to help thousands of kids ages 6 to 18 develop character, along with leadership, job, and athletic skills. Special thanks to all who stepped up to build the academy, especially my friend and Royals General Manager Dayton Moore, Major League Baseball, the Major League Baseball Players Association, and the Glass family. This project would still be in the idea stage without big-time assists from people like Kyle Vanna, the Royals Director of Baseball Administration, Carolyn Watley and her fundraising committee, the Kansas City Sports Commission, Populous, and VML, who created Relay the Way, our longest opening day first pitch event. This city is also making a direct $1 million plus investment in Linwood Shopping Center, proving that we will do whatever we can to drive investments to neighborhoods that need it the most. Kansas City is reawakening unlike any time in recent memory, and I pledge to continue to work as hard as I possibly can for the city that I love. And I remain undeterred in my resolve to make this city best, not just for today, but for our kids and our grandkids. And as I look ahead, I will work as hard as necessary to leave this city not only better than I found it, but the envy of cities nationwide and worldwide. My friends, the state of our city is full of momentum and pride, and I refuse to let it slow down. I thank you for supporting our efforts, and I thank you for being here with me today.
Once again, you have just watched a Kansas City government meeting on TBN TV 16. You may view the meeting in its entirety on the internet at kcmo.gov, or if you need more information, please contact the City of Kansas City at 816-513-1313.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network and made possible by your telethon dollars. Your continual support can keep Joy in Our Town brought to your home every day. So write Joy in Our Town, P.O. Box A, Santa Ana, California, 92711.